the topic that we um, touched on last week, which is the realization of the value of women beyond the dogma that has been handed down, which, in my opinion, has um, really handicapped women because rather than understanding the revelation in metaphors and seeing the woman as a metaphor rather than as an afterthought, we teach that God is the origin of the polarity of masculine and feminine, and yet God somehow forgot that Adam would need the other half. That's got to give you a clue. Something's not right there. The intelligent God who made the entire universe, who thought of every infinitesimal detail of the weight of the atom and everything else, but forgot that man needs the other half. Come on, clearly we need to understand it differently. And so we thought today we'd pick up on that theme and usher in the additional thought that the reason that the masculine and feminine need to be combined is that today we can more fully reflect the greater fullness of the nature of God, which is masculine and femininity harmonized, rather than isolated, separated, and in confrontational roles. So rather than challenging each other, we need to find a way to complement one another and recognize that the value we bring to the table is complementary, not confrontational. So, Father Bayo, if you'd be gracious enough to take it away from here and let us know what insights we can explore today.
You are so gracious, my friend. Certainly, it's always really wonderful to be here together to have exchange every Friday evening, conversations and dialogue that presents to us authentic, good questions and more probing to help us conduct ourselves better in this world. Just from the previous conversation, Brother Stunyan, Gabriel noted, I think what Gabriel was saying, at least in my way of interpreting, is that the mafia way, everybody has a price. Everybody has a price. And once you hit the right price, you can motivate persons to do anything. And it's unfortunate that money is one of the tools we have employed or used to quote unquote a man, to govern our affairs. And we are told again, or we read and we mature into realizing that the love of money is the root of evil. So, but however, what motivates the West most? Isn't it money, the almighty dollar? So thank you again, Brother Stunyan and Lady Tardin, as we pray for her, keep her in our prayers. She is definitely one of the reasons I am here. Yes, I love you, Stunyan, too, but we thank God for what we all know as the better half, right? As men, the better half. So it's a good place for us to be together. I'm going to share my screen. And thank you, Brother Gabriel, and every person who is here for participating. I pray we have something to add to the previous conversation. So the vision, we are now in a state where we really need to look for answers. And I love my great friend, I say is my guru and sage, Louis Burgess, who through his great study and research and seeking, he may have come to a conclusion that like Ecclesiastes, the great narrative in Ecclesiastes, what does it everything is, say, vanity of vanity. That's a powerful conclusion. But within that vanity, life continues. We cannot just say, well, that's the conclusion, and everything is just, it's smoke, nothing. So what's the vision? Since we know that the male testosterones have been leading humanity, and it has led us to where we are, where some of us have somehow see blink, and the so-called kingdom of God is obscure. 2000 years and counting, that great vision that came to stimulate the world back to sanity is failing. And what the Spirit has put in me, my friends, maybe it's an insight. I don't know what that is, but how now I say whatever that is in me, to look at words more closely. We must start with, it's not a king's dome. I want to just remind us, my friends, that the Bible, again, our instructional manual, tells us through Jesus that words are spirit. Words are not just words. As we know, words do impact. Words definitely do impact. And so when we say kingdom, we're talking about a king, a male figure again, a male domain. But we need a divine harmonization of divine masculinity and divine femininity, not a male domain. And so, as we here on this platform, and as we seek to expand it to others, many of us here come from a very good school of thought. We say the Family Federation for World Peace brought us together into a vision that transcends the individual salvation narrative. We know the individual salvation narrative has been in play is still in play 2000 years and counting, where it is about getting my soul salvation, the individual. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's where we must start. So we know that restoration, salvific restoration, is progressive. It starts with the individual, but it must now save Adam and Eve, not just Adam, but the couple, and bring them to go beyond the couple again. What is the trajectory of history, if we may use that word, or our longing, is a beloved community, a total environment where we all live, safe, enjoy. So Cheonyolguk, where two become one, the true beloved community, dubbed Cheonyolguk in Korean, a place where two become one in essence, the kingdom of heaven on earth, the place of godliness. It may never arrive as long as we continue to conceive of it as a king's domain or a male-dominated environment. There's a need we keep hitting on that, because I know, again, as we listen to each other, it's people don't just turn around. You don't just turn around the Titanic, a tradition, a belief system that has been, unfortunately, a distorted belief, no matter how distorted it is, because we have lived with it subconsciously. So we keep hammering on that the king's domain is not what history, what God, what love, what even our belief in God wants us. It wants the divine dance. It wants that beautiful manifestation of godliness in that principle, receiving and giving. It wants a wholesome, healthy, heavenly grounded relationship that does not need anyone, my friends, to be a commander, that, this one is the one in charge, or this is the quote unquote leader. Where everyone truly thriving, not striving, is thriving as a model facilitator of compassion, Christ-likeness, true love, culture. So the yin-yang divine order, this is what will bring about the divine culture. It requires, my friends, the elevation of again, the male, female, divine order, where yin and yang are always around each other, side by side, co-equal in value and divine worth. Again, emphasis on no gender as the commander. No one intended to be less than the other. So, my friends, on this our wonderful platform and beyond, the awakening here is not about waiting for somebody to come from the sky, a Messiah or something, again, to come from the outside. It is truly going back to remember the original way. So from this our small corner, brothers and sisters, I'm going to take us now into what we look as more as the solution. So no doubt, I can put this forward, Brother Louis and others, that there's an awakening going on in the world. We may all not recognize it, but it gets darkest before daylight comes. And that is just part of one of those truthful observations that's true. It's like the worst must have, it's sad that it goes that way. Then we will try to bring light. So the awakening is on. Woman, the divine feminine, the mother of all living. Adam, listen to this. Adam called his wife, named her Eve, because this word, what do they call it, a prefix? Or this word is adding value. The reason why Adam, who is supposed to be in that narrative, the one we say God created first, according to the Genesis narrative in the Bible, it seems, as we will note again, my friend will always say God created man maybe as an afterthought. Do we believe that? The God of all knowing, all knowledge. So this qualifies, he says, because she, and I will use the word, she was more valuable than every other living being. Because it says she was the mother, Brother Cock, of all living, not some of the living. All. This enigmatic statement needs more exploration, and it's at the heart of what I pray can help ignite men in particular to revisit the text and the whole Judeo-Christian Islamic belief system that wants to keep the woman secondary even in times of this our awakening. So let's enter the vision. It's a sacred vision. The kingdom of heaven and earth was originally what? Purposed when the divine, meaning God, created male and female, not ruler and ruled. No, male and female, but as an harmonized partnership, reflecting the fullness of God's love. My friends, there will never be true peace in the world as long as the woman is seen as secondary or inferior to the man. That statement, you can take it to the bank anywhere, as Brother Louis put that, and this is because of this statement, we will never have peace. If men keep subconsciously want to hold on to that tradition, especially the belief systems that allow men to marry more than one woman and think somehow there's going to be no. So the earth mourns and groans on all sides as the fallen egos and hubris of male-dominated power systems frantically hold onto a completely failed paradigm. You see it happening, still holding on to that. So, Brother Dr. Stunya, this is your paraphrasing here. God said, I can do better after man alone was created. And certainly God did better, because man woke up to, wow, that was shot into whoa, woman. From wow to woe is man. No, the womb man. So gratitude for Eve, who made all creation very good. That's what man did. Man shouted, wow, look at this This looks like me. Wow, man. So, brothers and sisters, I want to put forward again 7 principles of divine harmonization. And you've heard me, or you've heard us use this if you've been around us, especially these years of the apocalypse of religion, as we enter into unveiling divine culture, true love culture. So, there are sacred principles of divine harmonization, the eternal truths that guide us toward heavenly life conscious governance. And I just put 4 of those um, um, principles. That's Namaste, Ubuntu, Christ-like love, and true parental love. As again, we hear my friend in my heart, in my head all the time. He says Mama Stay is more like Mama Stay, not Namaste. So in Mama Stay, Namaste, the divine in me honors the divine in you. This is not just another passerby greeting. When we bow to one another in recognition of the sacred presence within each other, we dissolve the illusion of hierarchy between genders. The divine masculine bows to the divine feminine, and she in turn, the same, bows to him, not in submission, but in profound mutual recognition. This is the foundation. This is the absolute foundation, to see God in every being, every woman, every man, every child, and to govern from that place of sacred sin. When leaders practice Namaste, domination becomes impossible, absolutely impossible, if we practice it. Not just as another formal greeting, we really practice it. Domination, no, becomes impossible. So the next sacred principle for divine harmonization is that amazing ancestral word that comes from, we say, Africa, Akebulan, Ubuntu. Again, I want to encourage my friends, just like the Korean word Chonyolguk, which we inherited, which is a beautiful, I like the sound, but the essence is what is rich. Let's use this word. It's one of the most richest words. Namaste, Ubuntu. I am, you are, because we are. No one exists as an island unto him or herself. Never will be. So we cannot live without one another. Male cannot exist without female. Impossible. This is not metaphor, but the literal truth of creation, of existence. Ubuntu teaches us that our humanity is what bound together. That the man who diminishes the woman, what does he do to himself? He also diminishes himself more. So as we know, we cannot live without the other, as in male and female. So Ubuntu calls us to build what? Beloved communities where every voice, not some voice, not a chosen voice, no, where every voice carries the weight of the sacred. When brothers and sisters, husbands and wives model the grace of true partnership. And what keeps all that together again is the sacred principle of Christ-like love. Not Christianity, not Islamism, not Judaism, but if we can realize that all those isms are really trying to help us enter into Christ-like love. So Christ-like love is nothing, again, but sacrificial, we say, service. Not sacrifice in that sense, but sacrificial service, meaning not because this is convenient for me, I do it for you. It is when doing the Good Samaritan deed, like when you have to do the right thing in an inconvenient situation. Christ-like love is not dominion. The Christ-like path is the one of what? Washing feet. Any man, again, because this must first pastor, any man who can stoop down and wash another man's feet, I think you already know how to respect a woman. Not sitting on thrones, True divine masculine leadership empties itself of ego and hubris, recognizing that the greatest among us is what? The servant of all. This is not weakness, as some think today. We think men must show power, muscle, don't back down. No, this servant leadership is the most profound strength that we have. Men must soften the grip. Dr. Lewis, you've always talked to me about the grip, letting go the grip on the pipe that's flowing with life and love for everyone. Men must soften the grip on so-called leadership and allow for true facilitation, which is caring and sharing, the original harmonized union that reflects heaven's design for the earth. And lastly, but not least, of what we're presenting today as the sacred principles for divine harmonization is true parental love. Without true parental love, it seems going to be quite difficult to really capture the fullness of harmonization, because true parental love will lead to the Holy Family consciousness. So husbands and wives who become true parental conscious friends to all. This is important, because in parent and child relationship or parenting, there's still condescending. Oh, that's my son, my child. But we must rise with a parental heart to friendship. This is the model of governance that delivers the sacred presence of God as love. The Holy Family is not an abstract ideal at all, brothers and sisters, but a living template for every community. So most of us here are part of that move that really wanted to secure a model of a Holy Family. We say the true family, which is not for only one family, but for every family, every man and woman to inherit such a consciousness, a template for every community. So when heavenly couples lead together, again, as we've been graced, most of us here as so-called blessed couples, same thing, heavenly couples, responsible couples, harmonizing couples, demonstrating the diamond-like relationship that is full of divinely principled adventures. There's no, when we really harmonize, there's an endless adventure that awaits all of us, the world. We will create more beloved communities, what we call the kingdom of heaven, as originally purposed and intended. And the kingdom of heaven, or that word again, the family, the Chonyoguk, this great beloved community, is not a stagnant, static community. It will take you on the adventure that my dear great father Song Yomun called the hobby industry. You will have too much time to do so many good when we get it right. So as we enter this section, please have notes, have questions if you would, because we will open up. This next slide takes us to the pillars of heavenly governance, the transformation from domination to divine co-facilitation. I'm going to start on the right side on the screen, which is what must transform, before we return to what must rise. Again, I think you know what must transform. Falling egos and hubris. Again, I'm talking to myself as a man. The male-dominated, strictly power-based system, frantically trying to hold on by any means necessary to a completely failed system, must be transformed. And this is evident in our eyes these days, how men are still trying to hold on to power with the same old ways of power, muscle, force. The grip on leadership, which men think men must soften that grip on so-called leadership and allow for true facilitation of caring. Yes, we must. Women are secondary. That must transform. That needs to be at the core of every preacher's heart leap. Any true leader should be speaking about how no more. Can I say this publicly that, oh, behind every good man, there is a great woman? Or can I say, as we used to say, oh, a woman's place is in the kitchen, which is still subconsciously, oh, that's not a woman's job, things like that. Who wears the pants? So women as secondary must transform. We have recognized her Listen to this, friends. Here's the word. Listen to this, please, and receive. We have been the ones, men, who've recognized her as the better half since time immemorial. Then it's past due to follow through on that truth. Because again, the evidence is clear. If she's the better half, why have we kept her at the background for so long? Then the separation consciousness. Without the harmonization of the divine masculine and the femininity, there is no existence. Just from that simple, clear observation, again, we know that existence comes about because of the interaction, the complementary interaction of the so-called the plus, the minus, negative and positive charges. So we exist because the womb man, again, made us very good. If we follow the narrative, which most of us here lean towards as the background for beginning our journey into seeking. Now, my friends, what must rise? After as we transform, I think it's evident, equal facilitation must rise, bringing her forward must rise more, entering a diamond-like relationship must rise, and sincere gratitude must rise. These are very simple things. Say male and female facilitators in co-equal numbers. Maybe I'm just rephrasing what we've studied a long time ago. You know, Father Moon gave up, not to say Father Moon, but one of the persons who I saw who attempted, at least from what I saw, a man and a woman. But unfortunately, it was not co-equal. Why is it that? It's very simple observation. A church has 110 people, 10 of them are men, or 20 of them are men, and 90 of them are women. Yet, the leadership is 90% men. So we know that something is wrong already. But if we can follow the same core grounding of our existence, that it is a male and female, it's a positive and negative charge existence, then we should have equal numbers. We should strive for that at all levels, husbands and wives leading together as true parental conscious friends to all. So we need to bring her forward, bring her from behind, from the background, from the kitchen, bring her up front. Yes, she may make mistake. We should not even, as a so-called say blessed person, that should not even be an issue. It should just be natural, side by side with him. Let's watch as we recreate heaven on earth. Again, the diamond relationship will appear. This ever-flowing, healthy, heavenly, reciprocal, diamond-like relationship full of infinite, divinely principled adventure. So that in itself, divine relationship, I have a whole book on that called Divine Life, Diamond Life, which there's no way around it without the woman and the man at the center of the diamond, reflecting their relationship with God on all levels, in front, behind, side by side, up and down, the 6 position star relationship. Then this pillar, sincere gratitude, is so important. As we awaken to our true selves, we all shine through sincere gratitude for one another. Why is this? Why will this happen? If I do not awaken to my true self, I really don't know you. I know nothing. So once I awaken to my true self, which is what the Bible is really telling to be born again, is awaken to that core you. What is that core me? Do I know it? The core me is that sacred place where we say God, the Spirit, dwells. And that's that core me. Once I get, that's why we love ourselves in a way without even saying it. Yes, we protect ourselves. But once I see myself clearly that God is in me, of course God is in the other man, the other woman. It's also what's in the other man or the other woman. Oh, if I see Satan in me, if I see sin in me, I would want to project it to the other. So if I see now, I've seen myself through the hubris of belief system that the man, I am the man of the house. I get the inheritance. I the one can speak publicly. Oh, unfortunately, that which is within me manifests on the outside. So if I see the woman as having the same co-equal intrinsic value, unique to her role, does not mean, as me unique to my role, does not mean lesser or better or greater or any of all those other unnecessary language, but just complement. Then I would, if I live in gratitude, what else can disturb my life? Especially for the other. If I really live in that gratitude, seeing my partner as a universal, united soul, reconnecting and returning and restoring, it's just a simple, beautiful thing we would do always. So let's move a little bit quickly towards the end, because we want to bring more about the solutions. Couple leadership is so essential if we are to make more than a sincere, thoughtful, pragmatic effort towards a solution, to not have a blink future. Without couple leadership, we cannot overemphasize husbands and wives as co-facilitators in every level of governance, from local community to the global councils, modeling true love culture for all. Maybe it's just Father Bayo's pipe dream, like Father Moon had a dream, a vision of an interfaith council, which is part of the process to the solution. But if men, again, because they can't agree, if you cannot agree with your wife at home, you don't have that soft edge, we can never create an interfaith true council. So co-leadership of the male and female is so important. The diamond reciprocity and ever-flowing, healthy, heavenly reciprocal relationship will ensue if we follow couples leadership. We will see more. We will try, we will want to accomplish, just as people want to accomplish the single-minded, I am the leader, what we've been modeling. Everybody wants to, until when I become the leader. So if we have been watching couple leadership, then the diamond reciprocity is so easy. I see value in every diamond. No diamond is less in worth, maybe bigger, larger, but the quality is the same. So the beloved community will come about, the Holy Family, Heavenly Life, conscious beloved communities. We call the kingdom of heaven on earth, as was originally proposed when creation began. If we follow again, activating these opportunities we are in based on realization now, awakening happening in the world. So the time is now. The most vital project for all people of good conscience must engage the divine harmonization of masculinity and femininity is the most vital endeavor for all people of good conscience. All people. It is a simple and yet it's a most profound solution to encourage men to soften. So my brothers were saying, how do we encourage? How do we motivate? That's the issue. Men to soften the grip, to bring her from behind, to honor her side by side. That is the fundamental issue. How do we encourage? Dr. Stunya, maybe you have an answer to that. How do we? That is what my two brothers were talking about, to motivate ourselves. So as we rise, as we awaken to our true self, which is one way, once I awaken to my true self, we all shine through sincere gratitude for one another. I mean, if we really awaken to our true self, there's no issue anywhere anymore. We realize we are universal united souls. We reconnecting, seeking to return, restoring. As again, those principles, they are not just words we put on paper. Namaste, Ubuntu, Christ-like, true parental love flows through all of creation. It is a fact. God is present everywhere. Without the other, you don't exist. I don't exist. Christ-likeness is what really keeps us still going. People still sacrifice themselves with the parental heart for people they never met before. They do good things without which. So the time is now. The divine path to living in divine alignment. What do we need? Intentional togetherness. Let me wrap this up so we can open up. We need intentional togetherness, Brother Cobb. When I see what's going on in Canada and what's going on, at least in my part of the woods here in Virginia, where at least we're trying to hold on to this truth that we receive, we say, bless. When I see the Tardins, the Stewards, and the BKs and others, we're coming together and giving ourselves the opportunity to hear God, to respect each other as heavenly couples. What we need more is intentional, to keep doing intentional togetherness. And one intentional togetherness, which I've been encouraging couples anywhere, especially with men and women, is to have meditative dialogues, reflective conversations that deepen understanding and connection, like what we are seeking to engage here on Fridays and Saturdays. It's important that we go outdoor adventures together, male and female. Don't just go hiking with your buddies. Gardening, just simple but very necessary, very simple but profoundly will change how we harmonize. Exploring nature's sacred spaces together. Oh my goodness. Daily togetherness, like shopping. Dr. Louis, some of us don't like shopping, to be honest with you, but I begin to enjoy it. Errands, run them together. These mundane moments, let's make them sacred moments. Why not? You're with the one, you're with God. You're with one who you say namaste. You're the one I have to elevate because I need people to see. We need to model. So another intentional togetherness, breathing together. Right? When's the last time some of you couples took a bath together? Are we too old to do that? Yeah, are we old to talk about taking a bath together, soaking in the hot tub together? But also birthing in conversation, breathing yourself in true conversation, immersing yourself in true, again, back to meditative dialogue, showering ourselves in the sun's warmth with good conversation, taking a bath in and under the sun, conversing. Shared rituals, again, we've said it, cooking, eating. Food is love. It's not just another principle on paper. Somebody, it sounds good. It is truth. The more I and my wife cook, or I cook together with more female, oh my goodness. Again, sleeping together, story time together. And as we said earlier, recreation together is going to be the way of the future. The hobby industry, where playing, celebrating, delighting in the other as often as possible. So, friends, those are just some parts. I know we're past 8 o'clock. It's 8:18 now, but I pray something has been shared that makes this very simple. It's mostly many of the things most of us here maybe are versed in already. But again, how do we motivate each other, especially men and our sisters, to enter this same realization that, not with hubris, not with it's now our turn as women, and that's another that's not the way it's not going to work. The man, unfortunately, has to lessen his grip on his beliefs. Thank you again for allowing me to share. Suyan, there's just so much, and I pray I've not taken too much of time, but yeah, let me return it back to you. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Cock. I don't know if Tunya is there. I cannot see him unless I should stop.
I'm here.
Okay.
Just
yeah.
Trying to find the unmute button. And
that's why you need. That's why now I know you need Lily by your side.
Yes, I like the dexterity. That's true. I could certainly regroup. So could you stop sharing?
Yes.
Do we see the full screen of the room? Thank you. So thank you everyone for being able to come on the call today. Oh my gosh, I see the great Reverend Levi Dorothy. We have the pleasure, Blondine from New York, from Ottawa, New York, guys. I don't know why that came to mind, but anyway, it did. Anyway, I really enjoyed your presentation. I have a couple of questions, and I want to postulate, um, let's say, a narrative that challenges the established inheritance that we have, so that we can understand it differently, so that we're not locked into our inheritance. I've repeatedly said, Kirk, our inheritance must be the floor that we stand on, never, never the ceiling. If you're stuck in your heritage and that's the ceiling, I'm this and I'm not, that's it, that's my limit, you're part of the problem, not part of the solution. So how do we understand this inheritance a little differently, so that we're able to read into it more, give ourselves a little more fluidity, a little more agility, because living things have the ability to bend, to contort, to conform, to wrap themselves around an issue, rather than like dead things that just snap and crack because they have no holding power. So we must not be people who snap, but people who can mold ourselves around an issue, so that we can maintain our liveliness in these challenging and sometimes contorting circumstances. So, you know, the book of Genesis really is seen as a kind of a plagiarized text from the Mesopotamian culture. And the Mesopotamians understood the flood narrative, and we took it over and imported it into the biblical text of Genesis. And clearly, it was the greatest wisdom and the best understanding people had at the time. And it carried us through millennia. So we can't come and say, oh, boo. No, it's been outstanding. But it clearly did not yet give us the understanding we need, so that we can transition to what you call the base of reciprocity and interdependence, rather than a base of dependence and dominance. We need to get past these things. So I think if we can see it differently, then it will enable us to act differently. You spoke about the subject is not the commander. Would the subject then be more of a partner? Can we look at Adam and Eve perhaps as the first people that God calls to realize the original idea of creation? And we have not been able to articulate that in ways that are, let's say, that can be contextualized in a proper setting. But it seems to me that the role of that first couple that God calls is to divinize humanity, humanity to divinize, to be divinized by God's presence. There was to be an exchange of value. And because that did not happen, the archetype, let's say, the model, the standard of love could not be achieved. So because we rejected, ran, or misunderstood, or whatever, it doesn't matter. We never achieved the original standard. And so I think what's important is that we spend more time in understanding what is that original standard, that original intent, which can never be removed. It can never be changed. And so understand it in such a way that we can move forward. And here's an interesting fact that I came across, Captain Kirk. Did you know that in the population of humanity, there is more feminine mother's DNA, matriarchal DNA in the makeup of humanity? It's not 50-50. And I thought, wow, why is that? I had to read it. And apparently it's because men died through many wars, and women had to remarry, or women were taken as captives and had children with other men. And so most of our DNA comes with a vast majority from women rather than from the fathers, from the mothers rather than from the fathers. And I
So
thought
you
that
just
was
affirmed,
interesting.
just to enter the conversation so that maybe others too. You just affirmed part of what the Bible says, that the woman is the mother of all living. If we have a majority of quote unquote, and we may find some logic, why men went to wars and all that. But if you look at tradition, true tradition from ancient, even in Africa, people trace their lineage through the woman.
Yes.
And that is, and again, back to certain truths that are just simple, and we men acknowledge it. We say she's the better half. Is that just no? We subconsciously, Dr. Levi would let you know this. It's a reality we know. It's like man know it, but it's the contradiction is then we want to somehow put her as inferior. So yes, you are really again emphasizing that enigmatic statement in the Bible that states Adam called his wife Eve because she, not he, Adam, was the source of all living, but she was the mother of all all living. So just to try to answer your question, if we sit just for believers' sake, sit with those texts, whether they are plagiarized from Samaria, which is true, but we sit with it and not rush too much to the Augustine and the early church narratives of Paul saying the woman is evil, which has influenced again leadership, that no, the woman's voice cannot be listened to in the rabbinic court, in the Islamic court. So those things are just very clear. We don't need too much, unless again men want to resist. As you said, how do we frame it? There's no way of framing, as Luis would say. No, let's admit, let's just be clear. So thank you for bringing that out, that scientists or research can affirm that, quote unquote, the female DNA maybe more. But yeah, anyway, yeah.
So, as you spoke about, the woman is the better half. In true reciprocity, that cannot be true, because the other is always the better half. If the women don't treat their men as the better half, and the women don't, and the men don't treat, it doesn't work. One way doesn't work. Yeah. It must be reciprocal. Yeah. Otherwise, it's another dead end.
So, but the enigma, I want you to stick on that enigma. Is why do you men? Woman has never said it. The woman doesn't say, "Oh, yeah, it's reciprocal." That's true. But again, that point. Why has men been saying she is the better half? It says something to our contradictory nature of how we treat her.
My wife calls me the better half. I call her the better half. So we argue.
You are the best couple in the world. You are the best couple. We need couples like you and others. You are the best couple, but the world knows the fact is, men have always noted women as the better half. It's not the reverse. But we contradict ourselves by mistreating her. That's the contradiction.
That's correct. So, you gave me sacred principles.
Can I say something here?
Oh, I'm saying, please, go ahead.
If you strictly go by the formula of the divine principle, and the system of which God made everything that exists in pairs, what we call dualities, according to the principle. But somehow we get into this biblical construct that is not true. The Bible wasn't written by God. It was written by man. And so, but it does in two instances in Genesis, and God created them, male and female, created he them. And then in the 5th chapter of Genesis, God created them male and female and called them man. Everything that was created in pairs. Then we then should question the fact, why then only this one situation is created where the man is first and the woman is next? That's not true. That's not true at all, according to the principle. It is a biblical construct based on control and manipulation, but it's not connected to the principle. So according to the principle, the way you can prove what is principle and what is not, you have to go by science. And in science, it's the research, you can do the research if you want. There is no such thing as a subject and object at all, anywhere in science. None exists. Everything exists in pairs for the sake of the other. Without a proton, there wouldn't even be an electron. And thus the electron and proton come together for a higher purpose than themselves, to create an atom. And so within the atom, there's both masculine and feminine. So within God, we say the same thing. So we can joke around about it. It's nice to say those things. But in fact, each one is created equal only in value, not in position. Just because you have a position doesn't mean that you're less than the other person or greater than the other person. Because the value that we are created in is based on the principle itself. Thus, each person has the same level of soul. No one person is created with a greater soul than the next, or greater value. So yeah, I know we're joking around about better half and all that, but someone may be taking it serious. That's all I want.
Thank you. We got our sister Blondina, feminine voice. I love to hear.
Thank you, Levi.
Yes, thank you, Stoyan. Thank you, Father Bayo, for your presentation. To be honest, when I saw the topic for tonight, and I saw that Father Bayo, I'm sorry, I don't know you, so I was presenting, and I said, why is it a man who is presenting? Why not a woman speaking, This is, but I really appreciate all what you said. It really resonated with me. But what I want to say is there have been so many years where women have been secondary or, oppressed and, and it is not easy for women to come forward, but we are learning to do that. And also, I think for this time of transition, I think men has to back away. When I look at our group here, Ayano, I think I don't know who she is. She's a woman, right?
That's my wife.
It's your wife. Okay. So we have two women with all this group, You were speaking of balance, and it's so important, because and many times, when one woman wants to step up, they are surrounded by men. And, like at the board of the Family Federation in Canada, I'm the only woman. The other people are all men.
We have to change that.
It's hard to have your voice heard, even with the best intention, So we have a long way to go still, to reach what you describe, you know, this beloved community, this balance between, you know, men and women. This is the original design of the heavenly parent, of the mother, the heavenly mother and the heavenly father. They had that original design, but you know, it's not there yet, and we still have a long way to go. And we need more men like you, Father Bayo, who understand, who are willing to give the space for women to move forward. It's not men who will brought the women forward. It's the women who will be coming forward. And so we need that space, and we need, like you were saying, we want to get it right all the time. We'll make mistakes, but I heard, just to finish, just yesterday, there was an item on the French news. They interviewed women in politics in France and their experience. And they say, even in 2026, there's a woman who was a member of the assembly. Men were telling her what she should do, you know, in her portfolio. You know, there was also, you know, physical harassment, you know, people touching them, you know, inappropriately. You know, in 2026, it's still there. It's still so. Yes, we have a long way to go, but yeah, thank you for your presentation. I'm very hopeful to hear your word.
Baldine, can I echo you, Mrs. Stranger? Thank you. We thank God for women like you. Maybe next week you have to present to us.
Yeah, I open my mouth.
Yes, we want you to open your mouth more.
Yes. This is exactly what we do here. We set our wonderful queens up, our better half. I don't worry about that. She has to be the better half. All women, and if they can respond in reciprocity, that makes it better. So, Mother Baldine, you are on for next week. Come with all your sisters, and we will support you. Thank you.
And I second that motion. Blandine, you're more than welcome. If not next week, then the week after. Whenever you're ready, just call us.
Yeah, I'll think about it and let you know. But yes, definitely.
I appreciate that. You know, Father Bayo, as you spoke about the men dominating, being the head, when the man insisted on being the head, the woman had no choice but to be the neck and point the head with the word. So, you know.
This is why I love what we do together, all of us. You know, we have to cover all the shades of the diamond. You know, yes, serious, laughter. If everything doesn't come in, and it's the truth, the man thinks he's in charge. Okay, even the one who is president thinks he's in charge. When he or he goes home, Mother Baldini, we know who makes the head turn. And those are the irony why I always go back to, it's so obvious that we know, man knows, because it's the truth that is a balanced thing, as Levi put it so beautifully, so truthfully. But we know within us that, yes, and she knows subconsciously, that's why she can submit to all our mess, that yes, we got great value. And this we must share joyfully. It doesn't matter whether, you know, but help each other grow into lifting up. I must lift up the value of the woman more than I lift up the value of a fellow man. That's where we are in this transition stage. We must do that. I'm sad, Baldini, and to Stunyan, sorry, please, I speak because we are not just speaking to hear ourselves speak. When you said only one woman on the board, because we have to make these things very real. One woman. I don't know if there's any woman on the board in America. Maybe there is. But it's sad. It's like a quota. Oh, let's put, like America's DEA, let's put a black person to be around. And this is the movement that taught me that moved my conscience, that moved me to, wow, this is the best, this is the truth. Man and woman, true parental love, in leadership. I and my wife, I don't go nowhere without her. And unfortunately, that board right now has mother in jail with all the men who surround her. This is how can any man, how can I justify our leadership? How can I justify my leadership? It's absolute rubbish. Thank you. So I get excited about truth like that.
Thank you. I wanted to ask Baki, who might consider also speaking to this topic at some point. Baki, please consider. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic as well, because we're trying to really offer a different perspective that will allow this realization to become a reality. In other words, if you can see it, then you have the ability to do it. But seeing the invisible is the most difficult thing. So we need to offer a paradigm that is so compelling that people can say, wow, how have I missed that? And if we can't do that, then it'll take a lot longer. So Bahi, any thoughts from you on this topic? Want to hear more from women?
Well, I was brought up in a family or an environment where women were not considered equal. So women were given in marriage for a dowry, and that's what brought me here to Canada, because family didn't have any 5 houses to give all 4 daughters.
So hold on, mother, hold on, sister. Somebody is typing, or we're hearing clicks. We can't hear her well. Please, can we mute?
So, having said that, I found being in Canada over the last 4 decades that it gave me an opportunity, and the experiences helped me to integrate the masculine part and the feminine part within me. The environment also brought it, that where I had to be a father and a mother to my son, in the environment where when you have a home for repairs, either I have to do it myself, learn it and do it, which I did and do, and if I'm calling, I have to do lots of research. Also, my education, being a chartered accountant, and I work for CRA as well, it helped me to work along with more men too. So somehow it has helped me to develop that part within me, the masculine part, in Canada as well as in Sri Lanka. When parents didn't have the dowry, I knew I have to make a life for myself, and it was surprising even for them to let me come to Canada on my own. No family. Just I got my landed status because I had a British accounting degree. I was surprised my parents allowed me to come, and my life opened up. So having said that, yes, there were discrimination, there were problems, but somehow the environment gave me the big push to integrate both parts of myself. I could even say to my son, I was more like a dad navigating rather than being too soft. I don't regret but he does understand it for sure. I was not too strict either. So I had a balanced part of feminine and the masculine, the divine part. Somehow that is the grace that helped me. Being around people who are spiritual and religious and who live by what they believe. So I could understand in some environments women are not considered equal, but I think in my experience, I consider it as a challenge to learn and raise my vibration or my thinking to achieve whatever that is needed to make world a better place for all. So with that I leave.
Thank you so much. So please consider speaking more on this topic in the future. Okay,
Yes.
just put that in the back of your
Yes.
mind, and let us know when you're ready.
She is a model.
Now-
She is a model to speak on this because she triumphed as a single mother.
Yep, absolutely victorious.
Yes.
Love. Al, you had your hand up. I'm sorry I couldn't acknowledge you in time. Could you please give us your comments?
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to bring up a few points here. It sounds to me like you're trying to reach men, not women so much. So whether women are here, and I like to hear from women, but you get the point. You're not trying to reach women. I think we all can agree that women's contribution, has to be recognized as being as valuable as men's contribution, although they're not the same. But you sounded as if you believe that force in relationships will solve the problem in human relationships. And I would say that we believe there's a fallen nature in human beings, in both men and women. So force itself is not going to do that. Force is a natural thing. You can't remove it. And I've had this struggle with you before. It's like conflict. You can't remove this. But anyway, the question is then, what do you believe that as we are, we can fully harmonize as men and women? Or do we have a fallen nature?
Good question, R. And I don't understand the context of force. I'm not saying we should apply force to mend our relationship.
No, you're saying that the reason men have forced women into a certain state. That's what I'm asking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what you just said as what people believe as fallen nature. That hubris of pride, shame and pride that wants to conceal itself, Adam hiding. And so I don't believe anymore. I don't have a struggle with nobody. People may believe, but I am experiencing the natural reality when I really see the divine sincerely in another and acknowledge it. And starting with my precious wife who is here, I can say this in front of her. It's not like everything is so, as you noted, I don't call it conflict, as Sister Bahi said. It's not, it's just things come to help us grow, if we are really sincere in our seeking, not just believing. So as humble as I can, if that's a word, just to where at least the state of where I am, I do not see conflict. I just see, is it hurdles? Oh, okay. A challenge, a dam, my water is still flowing. There's a way around all this. and it's become so simple when we transition from just that word believe, which is a very powerful word that has been impacting again our subconscious. So yes, that fallen nature, which people say, believers again through religion say we are defective, and I note that no, even the believer's book doesn't say we were born defective. We were not created with fallen nature. At our core, there's no fallen nature. Fallen nature is a distortion of whatever, and belief does not repair fallen nature. It is consciousness, the real desire to want to do the right thing, like I pray most of us here are seeking. So I don't know if I help answer that question. First, I understand what you mean by force. It's fallen nature, whether they say fallen nature in man or man's inability to recognize again that the other is sacred. All is sacred
So
to
I
me.
understand that. I just say we believe that history is a belief in, say, the returning Messiah, because the human nature can't resolve the problems we have. That's what belief is. It's belief that there is a way out of this, but it involves an intercession from God and a Messiah and his wife and so on.
Yeah, and you're right. That's a belief.
Reborn.
Yeah,
reborn
yes,
is
yes.
the idea.
Yeah.
We need to be reborn.
Yeah, and that's the belief in every most religions, and there are people who are reborn without believing in the Messiah. And when we look at the Messiah still tells me I should be responsible. I have to.
No problem
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So it's beautiful.
All right,
Thanks.
said enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, when you speak about rebirth, all life comes from love. So to be reborn means to be born again from a higher quality love. So when more love comes into our lives, then we can attune our deeds, our lifestyle, our values to that higher standard. And this is one of the beauties of Christianity, that when people receive this incredible love from Jesus and the Holy Spirit, that new love led them to lead a new life. It's not people who went through the ritual and sprinkled themselves with water and suddenly they were changed. It's having received a genuine, deep, profound love, then that love leads to a new life. So ultimately, we don't have
We'll disagree on that one, but okay.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, because there is a ceremony that cleanses fallen sin. It's not just a matter that we decide to be better. There's a process of removing the fallen nature. Anyway, let's not.
Well, maybe it's a combination of the two, Al. No, it's about.
Well, it is, of course. We learn from there. We begin again, though.
That's right. Because I've seen many people get baptized and made absolutely no changes.
Oh yeah, no, it's possible to do the same thing over again.
Yeah, because and ultimately, until your heart is touched, until love what you love owns you. And if you love liquor, it owns you. You love drugs, they own you. You love high quality things, they own you. You love art, it owns you. Your life is a reflection of that quality of love. So we love the base things, and that's our problem. We like garbage, and that's the difficulty. I don't know if I shared that story with some of you on the call, but I'll share it again. The greatest sermon that I got was from our dog, who killed the raccoon, brought it to our door, and then buried it in the ash mound at the furnace. Every time I went to feed the fire, he'd go there, cross his paws, and make sure that I didn't come near his treasure. I didn't understand what was going on until the third day. I said, oh my God, he's worried I'm going to take his treasure away. Then I thought, oh wow, how many carcasses, dead, stinking carcasses, am I hiding in my heart, thinking that actually these are treasures? Don't come near that.
You're dangerous.
I'm sure all of you are exempt.
No.
But I really felt judged. See, the reason we hold on to these things that are stinky and smelly in the sight of God, if you will, who is the highest standard, is because we think they're so wonderful. And so we need to change our value. And that's when a new love comes into our lives, then we're able to make that transformation. And that is ultimately the standard. I think, Father Bayo, I shared with you a little humor I picked up from the Pickles cartoon comic strip. It was so cute. The grandfather and the grandson are by the shoreline, and the little boy's throwing little rocks into the water. And the granddad turns to him and says, "You know, I just read today that Socrates said he was the smartest man because he knew nothing." Wow. The kid's surprised. He looks up and says, "Well, who told him he knew nothing?" It's his wife.
It never fails. It never fails where the smart ones are. And that, again, as Levi or others have said, we may jest about these things, but it is it is clear within the human psyche. And I go back to that statement. You don't find anywhere in any book or about woman being the mother. And that says a lot. Back to ownership, which is already what we've been taught. We read in the Bible that my sexual organ belongs to who? To my wife. So she's the owner of me. I'm the owner. So how do I treasure if I really own, if you own something, the diamond, as Jesus says, oh, you sell everything for that diamond. So now, what has been happening, back to, like you said, belief. Persons were introduced to glass, Pierre Bourdieu, they were introduced to glass.
Thank you, Pierre.
Because they knew no better. People sold their whole nation for mirrors, for glass. That was one level of a belief system then. And some people still want to hold on to that level of belief. Now, when diamond comes about, some people threw it away because they didn't know you had to polish it. It looked just like a pebble. And that's what's happening right now in many places. Like when Father Moon got on the scene, when Jesus got on the scene, people, they got their glass. They were excited about their glassware or whatever. They were so attached to it. They could not let go of the ever expanding beauty of this divine grace of masculinity and femininity, just enjoying. So Jesus did his part. He tried, and others, many, and they're still doing. Okay, we say our beloved Father Moon come if we want to follow that type of linear narrative. It doesn't. Many people meet many people who touch their life, impact their life to do the right thing. They are their messiahs. That's why Father Moon does not throw away the Muslim, the Muhammad, or throw away Buddha, because we are all. So, but the point is, maybe he brought us diamond. And now it's for me and you, Baldine, and my brother on the iPhone, I've not Rogers and others, BK. We don't know we had diamond with us. And I'm saying we have diamond, just polish it. Polish it, let it shine. But start with recognizing that even our beloved, unfortunately, did not really give us the best example as what the Holy Spirit gave me to present. We needed 50-50 everywhere. Why should the board have 9 men and 1 woman? What are we saying? And there are more. Let's be very clear what the Holy Spirit is saying to all of us. There are more women in belief systems, in religion. So how dare any man anywhere want to say somehow, no. We know exactly what's going on. And if we, as my brother asked, say, yes, I need to speak to some men separate, but it's okay. There's no secret. If we're really true, this is noonday time, says Father Song Young Moon from the spirit realm. So we know I am the one responsible. I have to find a way to ignite to repent, and then to say, hey, lift up my better half, because she has been lifting me up for too long. Thank you, brothers and sisters. It's so simple. It's so simple.
So I know we've taken almost half hour extra. I apologize for the delay. I just want to add one more comment to this, and we'll close with that for your consideration. You know, the fact is that right now, masculine and feminine nature are both infected with fallen nature. So, you know, choosing someone by their gender rather than by the quality of their heart, I think would be a mistake. But we need to make steps in that
There are
direction.
enough women who have the same quality. Let's not go down those. I will stop my friend here because you are my friend. No, we're not going to make excuses. There are more women in the world. Many educated
Mother
women.
Mayo,
Yes,
just
go
a
ahead.
moment, please.
Sorry.
You can't do that, okay? Just stop. I am making a point, in fact, that in elections, for example, if we're going to elect someone on the grounds that they're a woman or he's a man or he's a Quebecois or, you know, he's this or that, that should not be the criteria. The criteria should be how enlightened and how good and how high quality of altruism does that person have. It's not their race and their gender and so forth. So, you know, ultimately it's quality. We must strive for quality. Quality will take us to the next level. You want a quality world, you need a quality people. You want intelligent world, intelligent people. Good world, good people. Otherwise, it's not possible. So that's all I'm saying. Let's aim for quality, because in quality, the two to come together. But if there's no quality, it's not to come together. Go ahead. You going to say something, Daniel?
I did, and it was to my wife.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, I should apologize.
Okay, no problem. Fair enough. Anyway, I'll leave you with that thought. And I want to let you know, Reverend Dorothy, you invited me to come on a Monday for your Divine Principle study. And I tried a couple of times and I couldn't. So I don't know what's going on.
Not Monday. I'm sorry. It is Wednesday.
Well, that could be for why I kept missing it.
Yeah, it is Wednesday, and we were talking about changing it to another day so you could get on, because your Wednesdays is all